great to be invited to, you know, play the first French download, isn't it? And the audience were excellent. We had a few little problems because we all used the in-ear stuff, and there were a lot of radio waves going about, so there was a lot of going on in our ears. We were all getting it, but our sound guy just couldn't do anything about it, but we got through. I've been completely given the all clear by my neurosurgeon in England, and he said, yeah, I'm discharging you. The crazy thing was, he said, what are you doing now? And I said, well, I'm on tour. You know, this was last summer. And he went, what? He was expecting me to maybe take a year or 18 months before I could get back to playing, but I mean, it happened in December, and I was gigging again in April. It's made me realize, you know, you have to take care of yourself on tour and do this stuff. But singing's pretty physical too, because you've got all the breath and everything. But yeah, it is, drumming is physical. Like a metal band, yeah, a lot of double bass drum stuff it is. So we had to cancel 5 shows when this happened, which was the last 5 shows of the tour, and they rescheduled them for February, which was like, what, that's a bit fast, isn't it? I went up to the London show, and Sven Dirkschneider, who was playing the shows, he was using my drum kit. So I said, well, I want to get up in sound check and see how it feels. And we played 747. It's actually on YouTube, I think, a bit of it. And I said, let's do it. At that point, I have to say, I mean, I couldn't have played, physically, I couldn't have played a whole show. So yeah, once we started touring in festivals, it got back up fine. There's some quite sort of fast and furious stuff coming up at the moment that we're writing, but then again, I mean, there's about 8 ideas at the moment we've been working on, but maybe all of them won't get to the album, because what we tend to do, we get all the ideas together, and then sometimes maybe a couple get left out, or we'll take a piece from one and put it in another. So it's early days at the moment. I don't feel iconic at all. I mean, it's nice when people say, oh, I really enjoy your playing and you've influenced me a lot. I feel very humbled by it, you know. I really appreciate people saying stuff like that. It's very flattering. From a drumming point of view, the most important thing for me is groove. You know, I always say, you know, for me, one of the best groove drummers is Phil Rudd, AC/DC. You know, as soon as he started playing, your foot started going. He's not a technician at all, but his groove is like, and that's, you know, that's pretty hard to get it right. I've gone backwards to people I was listening when I was at school, because I mean, I was listening to bands like Chicago and Return to Forever, like a lot of fusion bands, and Billy Cobham, and I've started listening to them again. One of the first memories actually was, I'd only been in the band, I think I'd been playing with them for a week, and I wasn't going to stay because I had the other band that I was in at the time in England, and they said, no, we want you to stay. So I went, okay, and I suddenly thought, yeah, okay, great. And then they said, oh, by the way, in 2 weeks' time we're recording at Hammersmith, and I was like, what? They just sort of dropped that on me, you know. So that was a memory, but no, the Power and the Glory thing, I mean, for me, that was, you know, Pete Gill had a lot of fans, and quite rightly, because he was a great drummer. But I thought, this is my first album with the band, so I've got to put my mark on it. So for me, that was a big test.